your attention to our lesbian feminist graveyard of feminist ideas that have passed on too soon. So one of my personal favorites, of course, is the lesbian separatist Dianic paganism movement. I think it's gone too soon. We also have Women for Women, and we have, of course, the L word. So just a few lesbian feminist ideas that we wish were still here. We've got some mirrors. Does anybody here at this point feel like looking at their own vagina?
What would that entail?
Well, you'd have to pull your dress down, I suppose, and have a look at your vagina. In this bucket, it is filled with her menstrual blood. Her blood nourishes our imagination, you see. So up these stairs, you will be in the secret tunnel of two adult women in love. Be prepared to crawl on your hands and knees. And I warn you, you will get touched. This, of course, is our ball-busting room. Balls are symbolic of multiple interwoven oppressions that emerge under the rule of patriarchy. As you can see, we've been very busy smashing some balls.
Yeah.
I find that at this part of the tour, the male students get a little bit nervous in this room. I don't know why.
Max is very excited for me to turn him from my boyfriend into my girlfriend. Max is very excited for me to turn him from my boyfriend into my girlfriend. You look terrified.
couldn't make this stuff up if we tried. So not everyone is okay with the story we brought you last week. Pole dancing for Jesus. True story. Who knew that a small business in Old Town Spring would make headlines across the country? Kristen Kane here tonight with a follow. Kristen.
Well, Tom, pole dancing for Jesus, it's a controversial topic that's being debated around the world right now. It seems to have hit almost every type of media, from TV news and radio to newspapers and the internet.
Here's a heartbreaker for me because it's Texas.
Right.
And a bill that's apparently being presented right now
In the Texas legislature.
in Texas legislature, not Europe.
Right.
If lawmakers approve this bill, then moms who kill their babies, up to 1 year, mind you, can get off because of postpartum psychosis.
Postpartum depression will be a defense for murdering a baby up to a year.
So, like about the time that baby's pulling up to stand up and look around and
infanticide.
And it undoes me to think that could happen here. But one of the proponents of it, who defended, remember our friend Andrea Yates, says it's something every civilized country has on its books. It's nice. It's real civilized, isn't it?
And, you know, here, something that jumped in my mind when I read that was, we've always talked about this issue, our country has talked about this issue of making sure that all the laws we pass are equally applied to males and females. Mm-hmm. How do you apply that to a male? What if a guy has an 8-month-old baby and he says, you know, I never understood how this has physically affected me. I'm having to work more hours. I don't get to see my wife as much. It's really impacted our lives, and babies do that. You've got a newborn baby. We had babies. You've had 4 of them. You've had babies. They impact your life. What if a guy says, I killed my 8-month-old because it was just driving me nuts?
Then it better apply to
it better apply to him.
Yeah, but it might get him off, is the sad part. But one of them says change in public attitude about educating people about postpartum is what will get this through. And, you know, like, oh, it's so bad and people need a break, that, you know, run over their, 6-month-old baby's head. But yes, it does need to be brought up, because I was one that said, I will never have postpartum. I'm a believer, I'm strong, I want this child, all that. I had it bad. I had it bad for a week, and it
But you didn't kill your
But
son.
I didn't kill my son.
Right.
I can't believe this is happening in Texas, and everybody ought to be calling their state senators.
They're dying from back alley abortions. They're safe and dirty, or they're unsafe and dirty. And, you know, the only difference is between the back alley butchers and today's abortion clinics is that they let you in through the front door. The procedure's the same, the instruments are the same, they let you in through the front door. That's the difference. Herman Gosnell butchered women, butchered children. We have Carpet down in Houston.
Douglas Carpet.
Butchering women, butchering children.
It's being covered up.
At the beginning of this year, February, 5 women died in February out of Planned Parenthood in Delaware. Do you think you hear about that on the news? No, you don't. Because they want to keep that fact from you. They don't want you to know. Abortion is not safe. It's not rare. The only thing it is legal. Keep fighting for life. You are doing the right thing. Stay encouraged. Stay positive. And together, we'll do this.
Thank you, Lord.
May I ask you, if this had been a 31-year-old man with a teen student, a 16-year-old girl, would you still have referred to it as fooling around?
Absolutely not. There is a double standard there, I do have to admit. Generally you think, and this is probably the wrong thought, but you generally think when an older man sleeps with a teenage girl that there could be some kind of, not mental damage, but there's a whole lot more there that can go wrong. And you have the tendency to think sometimes that it isn't the same as a teenage boy and an older woman. That's not necessarily true. But
actually,
you are right about that.
It's not true, period. And what you're saying typifies a complete miscarriage of justice, where a woman is treated differently if she sexually molests a child than if a man does.
Gloria Murphy pleaded guilty to one count of gross sexual imposition of a person under the age of 13. Now, it's a lesser charge than child rape, which means Gloria Murphy could spend a maximum of 5 years behind bars. Using her walker, a very frail-looking Gloria Murphy answered Judge Mary Catherine Huffman's questions in court today.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am.
How old are you?
55.
How far did you go to school?
12.
Murphy pleaded guilty to gross sexual imposition.
Guilty. Guilty pleaded to one count of gross sexual imposition, a felony of the 3rd degree.
Her other charge, rape of a child, was dropped under a plea agreement. Dayton police arrested Murphy, who lives in the 5400 block of Rawlings Drive, on January 30th, after the boy told an adult he and Murphy had sex. Police said Murphy didn't force the boy to have sex, but since the boy is under the age of 13, it's considered rape.
And if you're wondering about that deal, Andy Kahn, a crime victims advocate, says it's a sweet one, made possible because she's a woman.